Welcome back, everybody. This is Lightworkers Secret to Success. We're so excited to be here today. We have Radhaa Nilia, one of my favorite people in all the world. Welcome back, Radhaa. We're so excited to have you here again. It's been, I think, several years since you were
Mhm.
on our platform. So, all about Radhaa. I'm so excited to have you here. So I'm going to read Radha's bio here. Do you guys have issues with your eyesight? Like I feel like my eyesight's gotten worse. So I have glasses, but then it makes me dizzy at the same time. So just be patient with me as I read with these glasses. Okay. So Radhaa is the owner of Radhaa Publishing Housing or Radhaa Publishing House. So it's a boutique publishing company run by women of color dedicated to empowering authors to share their unique voices with the world. They specialize in publishing books across various genres, including holistic wellness, self help, personal growth, poetry, and memoirs. In addition to their publishing and PR services, they offer a variety of ways to support authors, including author incubators, collaborative books, mentorships, and training programs. So, as we know, books can transform lives and communities. And we are committed, they are committed, Radhaa Publishing House is committed to creating a positive impact for authors now and as a part of their legacy for generations to come. Through their support and mentorship programs, they support authors developing their writing skills, build their brand, and amplify their voices. Um, I want to say that I've worked with Radhaa several times and I've seen the growth just in the company within Radhaa and how it just keeps getting better and better with each book and each publication. So I just wanted to say that Radhaa right off the bat because um I think when you first started, you were kind of like, oh, you had this big vision. You wanted this to come forward. And it was, I think when you're reaching out to people, it can be a little bit challenging with when you're depending on other people to meet deadlines, right?
Yeah,
So it can be kind of challenging. You're like,
yeah.
I have this deadline. So I think this just with that growth too has been like remarkable. And um I was in your 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 first book of energy healing and soul medicine,
That's
this
right.
one.
Oh, yay.
And my chapter in here is called Angel. And then I don't know, I think it wasn't that much longer after this was published, you created Stories of a Goddess.
Oh my goodness, you're both.
I
Yay.
have both. Yeah, I'm in both of these. So these are Stories of the Goddess and the Divine Feminine Frequency Keepers. So these, I mean, these two books are amazing. So they are so amazing. And when Radhaa had came to me about the energy healing and soul medicine, I actually was referred to Radhaa by a friend of mine who was in one of her books. And I thought, oh, well, I have a story to share. I can be in her book, right? Um, so that was a really nice experience. I didn't have any issues or problems. And then when she reached out to me, Stories of the Goddess, I was like, no, I don't have time. I am busy. I don't have anything to share. And Radhaa didn't, it's not that she didn't pester me or bother me in any way, but she just gave me friendly reminders because she had a vision of me being in that book. So
Mhm.
she just said, I know you're saying no, but like you're supposed to be in this book. Like I have a vision of you. And I'm just like, so I muscle tested because I'm an energy healer. And I was like, am I supposed to be in this book? I was kind of saying it resentfully, like I didn't want to. And it was like, yes. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, what am I even going to talk about? So Rod and I had a nice conversation and she's like, so I was telling her everything that was going on in my life. And I said, I think I'm too busy. I don't think I have enough time. And she goes, no, this is the perfect time. So we did that and she was so encouraging and really thought that my story was worth being into this book. And that book took me a long time. We're talking about deadlines because I'm so thankful for the deadlines because I work really well under pressure. But when I was doing this book, it was I had to have that deadline or it wasn't going to work out for me. And so um anyways, I won't go into my stuff about me being on all the books, but I know since these two books, you've had so many other books that have come out and I'm just like so amazed. I don't know how I missed all of these. So
Yeah.
you have the energy healing and soul medicine. You have volume
Mhm.
1 and 2.
Volume 2, we are going to be launching that shortly.
Oh, okay.
So that's not out yet. Yeah.
Oh, it's not out yet. Okay, but it's in the works.
Well, we're actually going to open it up to energy healers and anybody that has interesting modalities and things like that. So there's an open
Oh,
for that. Yes.
oh, there's an opening for that. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that one. Okay, cool. So you have a okay. So volume 2, you have openings for that one, and then you have the Awakening Star Seeds, volume 1 and 2 and 3.
Yes.
Did I get that right? Oh, I'm like, oh my
A lot
god.
of star seeds out there.
Yeah, there are so many. And then my friend
Mhm.
Halty's in this one, the
Who?
Awakening Star Seeds.
Oh,
Halty.
yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So Halty's all of our friends here. He's all of our friends. Okay, and then you have Pillar of the Light, Goddess Activations. So this one says it's the Infinite Cosmic Records, Sacred, excuse me, Sacred Doorways to Healing and Remembering. Oh, that's really
Mhm.
nice too. I like that one.
That one's with Maya the Shaman. It's just her book. Well,
Oh, that's her book. Okay.
it's her book, but then it has like all of her clients who share their stories of going into the infinite cosmic records. And that's something else we can do for all of you healers too out there. We can help you curate your book based on your clients' experiences. So they can actually write in your book, and we help set that up because it can be a little complicated. You have to get everybody to sign certain agreements, and
Mhm.
it's still a compilation of a lot of stories. So we take all of them and then we put them through the editing process and gather everybody, and we do the interviews for everybody. So it's a very empowering way to share a modality if somebody has a new modality.
That's nice. I love that. And also, we know that we're all energy healers here. And just because one person, you could have 10 different, practitioners of the same modality, but they're all
Mhm.
going to be different because we all have
Yeah,
different personalities and
it's
everything.
so true. The filter in which it comes through is different, how we
Yeah,
bring it forward. So
exactly. All right. So another book you have is The Infinite Cosmic Records, Sacred Doorways to Healing and Remembering. Nice. So is this one already published?
yeah, that one's already out. That one is with Maya the Shaman and all of her clients.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
Maya. Okay. Is it Maya?
Maya, yeah, Maya the
Yeah, Maya.
Shaman.
Nice. Okay. This one, tell us about Dolphin Odyssey.
Oh, this one's really, really good. So Dolphin Odyssey is with Eros Christos, and he's asked us to do his whole collection of books that he put together his whole lifetime.
Wow.
And he's in his 80s now, and so he just asked that we could put them out into the world.
Oh, wow.
And he's had like this incredible connection with the dolphins.
Mhm.
He came from Europe and kind of had, from an elite kind of situation, but he left everything in order to go on his own journey of self-discovery and spiritual awakenings. And so he's been in communication with the dolphins for a long time, actually like talks to them. And he does this thing called sonic codes where he does these vibrational activations, and they help to heal and activate us too.
Yes, I believe in that. I was just reading something yesterday about, vibration and frequencies. And of course, we all believe that that is the way to heal. Okay, that's beautiful. I love that. I have a really connection to dolphins, so I love that.
Hmm.
Okay, so let me just see the other ones. Okay, so we talked a little bit about stories of the goddess, divine feminine frequency keepers. Oh my gosh,
Embracing aloha.
embracing aloha.
Yeah. So that one is it's a book. It's kind of, to me, it's like a movie. It's
Hmm.
a fast-paced adventure about the corruption, about the corruption that's really going on in Hawaii right now.
Okay,
And I mean, it's based on true things going on, but it's he
nice.
yeah, he was just downloaded to write this. And so he wrote this actually a long time ago about
Uh-huh.
how people are going to come into Hawaii and exploit it, and they want to turn
And they
it
did.
into their cash machines and kick everybody out. So it's such a true relevant story. And this is one of our books that we think it could eventually turn into a film because it
Hmm.
has that ability. The characters and everything is so beautiful. So,
There was a movie that I just watched called Aloha. Amanda, we watched that,
oh,
right?
Oh yeah, we did watch that. Oh gosh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, and it's very
Just
similar
last
to what
night.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
oh wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. It's called
Yeah.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Yeah.
Aloha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we did watch it. We liked it both. Okay, you're gonna have to help me with this book or this
Okay.
name. Is it Maharlika?
Which one is it? Maharlika?
Oh, Maharlika. Oh
It's
yeah,
in search of
Maharlika.
identity. Yeah. So this book
Oh.
is one of our authors is in the Philippines, and he is sorry, the garbage truck is outside making all kinds of noise. I hope you can. Of course, they want to come as soon as we're doing this. So Maharlika in Search of Identity. Deo Palma is one of our incredible authors, and he is from the Philippines. I actually met him when I was there doing some community service. So I actually got to see how he serves the community. I mean, he doesn't really have funding, but he's always going out and feeding. He goes all the way into the mountains where the indigenous are, who haven't come, really into the cities, and helps them with educational tools. He opened up a school for children, and so my mother and I have really we really believe in his work. He's always, when there's crisis, like there was a time where the roofs were blown off of the huts in the Philippines, and he sent all the pictures to us and asked us to help. So we try to help him out, where we can, and also educate others. But this book is really about the true identity of the Philippines, which was named after King Philip, which is, a very toxic situation there,
Oh.
brought a lot of disease and distortions, and really changed what was originally known as Maharlika. So, a lot of Filipinos want to bring back the name Maharlika for the Philippines,
Oh.
because it was King Philip he brought a lot of terror, and he really distorted the culture, the true nature of our culture, and therefore he's bringing forward the true history of Maharlika with the Philippines.
Nice.
And yeah, it's
Radha,
really,
do you have the Filipino background?
yeah, my mother.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
Filipino. Amira, my two daughters, Amariana and Amaya, they're half Filipino.
Oh, really? No
Uh-huh.
way.
Yeah.
Oh, they
Well,
should
more
read, they
a
should read.
quarter. They're a quarter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so that's nice. Oh my gosh. I
That's
should get that
great.
for them so that they can, feel like
Connect to the
yeah.
culture, because a lot of us have been misinformed about history. I mean, we know across the board history was really rewritten by the
Yes.
conquerors, and
Yes.
that a lot of true history has been written out. So it's our job to find the missing pieces and bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we will never know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really by knowing who we are, where we came from, and the true history, that we can start to come back to ourselves. And I think that's also why a lot of Filipinos have had an identity crisis,
Yeah.
because we've never had a true solid foundation. Our foundation, our pillars that we built were broken and stolen and distorted, and also replaced with other flags that didn't belong to us. So we've had many
Mm-hmm.
conquerors, come through, and it creates a serious identity crisis. So when we come back into our inner knowing and remembering, then that's actually part of the healing. So this book is actually a healing
Yeah.
book for all those that come from that lineage.
That's amazing. I love that. And how cool would it be to have a book like this for every culture? Like the
Mm-hmm.
African culture, I
Yes.
mean every culture out there that has been ripped from its
Yes.
traditional ways.
Mm-hmm.
Even like having a Native American book for natives.
Yes. I've
Out
thought
there.
about that.
Native Americans are such great storytellers, and that's how they would pass down their information is from,
Mm-hmm.
generation to generation by storytelling. Um, so that would be awesome if we could
I agree
create
with you.
that.
It will happen. I know it will happen. There will be one person, from each culture that is going to come forward, that is
Hmm.
assigned to come forward. It's a divine assignment. It's a lot of work. He spent a lot of his life researching and doing that. He spent so much of his life besides all of the charity that he does. But so he's an incredible human being, Deo Palma.
That's so nice. Well, thank you for that information, because I did not know that the Philippines were named after King Philip. I mean, I feel like the people in America, we don't really know much. I don't know if we were ever taught that. Like, Adam tells me so much about like American U.S. history, and I'm like, huh? What? I have
know,
no idea
right?
about that. And he's like, what did you guys learn in school? I'm like, I don't think anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Clearly nothing. Okay, so then you have Kuan Yin, Goddess Activations Healing Workbook. So that's an actual workbook. Do you like write in this one?
So that's based off my own modality called Goddess Activations.
Oh yeah.
And I do I work with each archetype. You know, there's so many goddesses, and so Kuan Yin was one of the first goddess archetypes that I really worked with, and she's so near and dear to my heart. She's brought me through a lot of, you know, tumultuous times and a lot of grief, and you know, and also she's taught me a lot about patience. Like, she's mentored me, you know, with patience, because I've never been a patient person. And most of my lessons in life were about patience.
Yeah.
So I had to learn, you know, the hard, long way. And my dad would always joke, Kuan Yin's not done with you yet, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, don't ask for, you know, people pray and they'll pray for patience. It's like, no, because then you're going to get events in your life that, you know, require patience. So
yes.
I don't pray for that anymore. I don't pray for that. I don't pray for strength. I'm strong enough. I don't need any more things strengthening me.
Exactly. But she's such a beautiful being, and she's also really helped. She can really help with the heart when we've experienced a lot of trauma in our life and a lot of pain in our heart, you know, and we feel hopeless. Kuan Yin is the most loving being, and she just comes back to me over and over again and reminds me to come back into my heart. And you know, forgiveness has been a big theme in my life too, and you know, I've had my own struggles with forgiveness, and so I really look to Kuan Yin and her love, because it's that unconditional love, and being able to see things from that higher place, which she comes from, is so helpful, you know, because without forgiveness we can't move forward. But anger is also very, very important when someone has wronged you or violated your energy or anything like that. Like, you do need to feel your feelings, and so we have other goddesses that we work with, like Goddess Kali, to really burn through the rage, the grief, and all of that. So yeah, each goddess has their own archetype and energies, and they can just help us move through situations much faster.
Yeah, and I guess I wasn't really aware of those archetypes before you and I had the conversation about being in Stories of the Goddess, and I think it wasn't until right before I wrote my chapter I really didn't know, like, there could be so many things I could have written about, but I didn't know, and I actually prayed and I just said, okay, you know, I have kids that are in addiction, and I said, if this book was to fall in the hands of a parent who is struggling with a child in addiction, like, what would that message be? How could I bring them hope in in our reality that looks so bleak? And that's when I had the channeled message come through with Shakti, the divine, you know, the divine aspect of our creator, and then my higher self with his Lady Faith, and then they brought me into the conversation. So this chapter, people say, what is it about? I'm like, I don't know, because it was channeled. Like, you have to read it. You have to read it. So I didn't know, but I had no idea until you had mentioned that. And it wasn't until Shakti came through, because I didn't have an awareness of her prior to that.
But see, that's beautiful. That's why it was also meant to be, so you could connect with that energy that was already connected to you.
Yeah.
Your awareness of that. And then also I I knew in my heart that you had something so important to share, because we think because we're struggling sometimes that we don't have anything to share because we're going through it. But actually, when we're going through it, that's like there's so much to share, because other people are also going through it. And I think we have to remember, we don't have to be perfect to be healers. We don't have to be perfect to share our story. And perfection is not part of the equation, because life is meant to have challenges. It is meant sometimes to have obstacles, and we're also meant to overcome them, right? And to share them in whatever aspect, even if our heart is bleeding, there's something there. And I really felt that your particular story is so powerful. And I have talked to so many other women who are experiencing those, things that you're going through. And so it is relevant way more than what you think. I've had many women tell me that your chapter resonated with them and that they cried when they read it, and so you just don't know who you are touching. And people they don't always just reach out. Sometimes it's something that they hold dear in their heart. You gave them a torch of light and they carry it forward. So you just don't know who you're touching. And I think that's what makes it so special. So your story was so relevant and so important, and is still so relevant. And I hope that we can share that in a bigger way too,
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Thank you. And I had a girlfriend, because once I wrote it, like I said, it was just channeled, and I didn't read it again because I didn't want to
Mhm.
change it. I didn't want to put my own
Yeah.
thoughts into it. Like, wait,
Yes.
is this supposed to be in there somewhere? I was like, no, I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
So, I had a girlfriend of mine came over and I said, can you read my chapter? I'm going to submit this. And she's like, sure. And so she read it and she was crying. She was like, that is so touching, so beautiful. And I'm like, really? Because I didn't read it again. I was like,
Mhm.
gosh, I need to read it. And I sent it to Adam too. And Adam was like, oh, that was really good. So,
Oh.
and the last one we have here is Poems from the Heart. So that's your newest creation right now that you're working on, or that was just,
Yes. No, that one is out. So it
that
just
was
came
out.
out paperback the 27th.
Okay.
And we have authors from all over the world, and I mean poets, and I love poetry, because sometimes we don't want to over explain ourselves at times, and we want to just get the essence of whatever it is we're going through. So poetry gets straight to the heart of the matter. We don't fuss around about it, whether it's love, whether it's longing, whether it's grief, loss, whatever it is. We're all connected with the universal heart, and that's actually what makes us human. And with all of these wars going on, we have forgotten our heart. And so this book is just a reminder to come
Yeah.
back into our heart, that it
Yeah.
doesn't matter where we come from. We're here, and we all have hearts, and they experience so much. So I think we can find more relatability to each other through the heart.
Well, I was going to mention that when I was in high school, if it wasn't for poetry and writing poetry, I don't think I would have made it out alive, honestly. I went through so much in high school, and um I was I created a poetry book. I opened it up to my entire high school, and I had to formulate, like, I did all, I don't want to say all by myself because I did have a helper, but I did most
Mhm.
of it by myself. And
Wow.
one of my instructors, she loved the idea. So she's like, yeah, if you could put it together, we'll publish it, da da da. We sold it for $1.
Mhm.
But it
Wow,
was so cool. It was everybody that had
amazing.
the chance of wanting to bring their poetry and their feelings out into a book. And I had so many people that were just so excited to be a
My
part of that.
goodness. So you actually curated a
Mhm.
poetry book.
Yeah, I did in high
Oh,
school.
I would love to at some point love to hear one of the poems, one of your poems.
Yeah, well, I'll have to ask Adam maybe where
Mhm.
he put it. It's like in a childhood box, so
Yeah.
I'm like, so I'd have to like dig through there and see where it's at. But it's so cute because I used to sell cookies. Remember, like those warm
Mhm.
cookies, Otis
Yeah.
Spunkmeyer cookies. So I used to bake those during one of my periods, and we would send them out. So the guy that worked with me, um, he was an artist, so he created the front cover, and it was like the cutest little dinosaur, like coming out of an egg. So it was like being born. It was the cutest thing ever, though. Yeah, it was cute. So
Oh my goodness.
that
I
is so
love
awesome.
that.
Well, I love your books. Like you said, they touch everybody in different ways, and it's just so important to get um our stories out, because
Mhm.
they're very relatable. I mean, even the stories that I read, I'm like, oh, I can relate to the author.
Mhm.
And that's one of the reasons why we invited you on today, is because we, as a group here, Lightworkers Secret to Success, we want to interview the authors, and we want to kind of hear what they're doing, and why did they choose to be a part of your project. And um, I started to read. Well, and the other thing too, honestly, guys, um, I hadn't read the books, and so I thought, in order to hold myself accountable to read everybody's chapter, I wanted to have that one-on-one with
Mhm.
each author, and then I could really like put their essence into their chapter as I'm reading it. So we want to invite them to come on here. We'll interview them. They can either just do an interview, or they can choose to read the chapter to us, whichever one they
Yeah.
choose. I think I'll ask them before. So we're really excited about that. And then as we go through, and we can do that for each book,
Mhm.
moving forward, to get everybody's
Oh, amazing.
information out,
Yeah.
and the healers. So you're looking for authors right now. Can you tell us, okay, what books are you looking for authors?
So we actually we just finished Poems from the Heart. So you would not believe how many poets wanted to continue on. So we're going to be doing another poetry book.
Okay.
And it's, I'm actually interviewing some different teachers, poetry teachers, and some healers, because this is going to be a very unique project. We're going to be touching on our divine, sensual nature, and it's just going to be very healing. It's about coming back to our true whole self before we got homogenized by all of society.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be like a very healing process. So I've contacted quite a few teachers, and I really want to bring in different variety for
Mhm.
authors in the author incubator, and make it really, really juicy, and like, I consider these to be transformative journeys. I'm transformed by them, and I always feel that our authors always tell me that they're transformed from them too, and so we all grow. And sometimes there are little bumpy parts too in the process, like, and that's just normal, but it's not everything is work outable. So our next book is going to be a poetry book, and then we are also going to just kind of open up our space for the Energy Healing and Soul Medicine Volume 2, because we know that right now, there's crisis in the world, and people are looking for new ways of dealing with challenges, and energy healing is one of those tools that's so powerful, and whatever is right for that person that's reading it, I believe that there's like a healer for everybody, so it's kind of like this beautiful directory, and we send it out into the world, and people can read it in other countries too.
Yeah. So who would be the right person to be considered for your books?
Somebody that's been on their journey, that, we like to work with people who have a level of maturity, who know how to hold, they're not looking for us to just do all the work. Like, they need to show up and participate, and be proud of the work they're doing. We're really unique as a publishing house, because we really consider our programs leadership programs. We don't really say that, but it is a leadership program. So you come in, and we're training you in stepping into your leadership, owning your work, owning your voice. We do also author interviews, press releases. So we get you into the spotlight, but you also need to participate and also be part of the community. Like, it's very important to get to know your fellow authors and to support them. And that's the vibe that we go for. It's community, it's connection, and it's something that's priceless. And the people that really show up and participate, they get so much out of it. They really, really do. it's like they feel like it's the best thing they've ever done, but they've shown up, you see, and people that don't show up, they maybe have a different experience. So
Yeah.
it's very, very important, and we want people to be each other's allies. It's important to start thinking about networking, and instead of competition, we are all about collaboration. Find the person in the group that you're connected with, collaborate with them. We
I
encourage
love that.
to shine, to do workshops together. Find your tribe, you know, that's what it's all about. So the collaborative books open up that opportunity. And it's really up to the individual if they're willing to show up and be part of it, or if they're not. And so if they are, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of spotlight that's available. Though, you know, a lot of healers are very nervous about stepping into the spotlight, you know, that witch wound. And I think we all know that one, where we've been persecuted in other lifetimes for having gifts. And I personally suffered from witch wound before I started all of this. I had to go through a 6-year journey of like, you know, storytelling and workshops and voice coaching and all of this stuff to get over my terror of being, you know, of being persecuted. And so what we do is also, we understand that a lot of healers have that persecution wound. So we actually cater to that, and we do some clearings and activations also. So you get like this holistic experience. It's not just, here's my chapter, goodbye, good luck. You know, it's very immersive. We put all of our energy into the author incubator.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. I know I've asked you a lot of questions. I want to open it up to Adam and Colette and Rebecca to see if they have any questions or comments.
I have a question. Where can people find your books? Are they on Amazon, or are they strictly through your publishing company?
So
they're on Amazon.
They're Amazon. You can get them on Barnes and Noble. You know, our books can be a little like our Starseed books can be a little out there. Sometimes Target picks them up. We work with distribution, like we get into the catalog so that we can share it in a bigger way. But all of our books are at Barnes and Noble, so we do Barnes and Noble book signings, and we love to do those and help the authors get set up for that, because that's a big, exciting thing to do. But yeah, they're pretty much you know, everywhere online.
Great.
Awesome. And I have a question. So you shared that the author journey is a leadership journey. And so I was just curious, like, for someone who's never written a book, never heard of you, does nothing about book writing, what's kind of the process? You know?
Yeah.
Amanda said she channeled her book, and you kind of helped her with that. So like, what about someone who's interested in getting their story out, but they don't know what to write, and you know, things like that?
Actually, that's a lot of our authors come in like that. They know that they want to share a story, but they may feel indecisive about it. They know that there is a story, they have to choose which one. So the author incubator process is when we step into it, we have these meetings on Zoom, and we start to tune in to each person and see, okay, like where are you with it? Some people are like, I already know what I'm writing about. It's already done almost, you know, and some people are like, I have no idea. Could you help? And so we do these sessions where we do coaching, and we kind of tune in to the individual, tune into the message that's currently vibrating at the highest frequency for them. And then we work on bringing that forward through our writing sessions. So we gather and we do actual writing sessions, and it's really important sometimes to have the space holding and just have somebody to say, hey, excuse me, I have a question. Could you, I'm kind of stuck here, I'm blocked here, can you help? Can I just read what I have, and maybe we could sort this out? So we do a lot of hand holding through the process, because we know that it's very delicate, you know, situation for some people to even share their voice in this way. And you know, sometimes we bring on guest teachers, so we have different people that will help out. And then we do also breathing exercises and things that really ground and center us. And we really kind of tune in with our higher self as well. So we're using many different ways and modalities, from just the writer's way, to actually more holistic ways of connecting to your story and finding the voice of your soul. And it turns out wonderfully. They're often shocked and surprised. They sometimes join and say, well, I wanted to challenge myself. I just wanted to know what it felt like to be a published author, but I wasn't sure what I would talk about. And then sometimes I will help the person myself, because I'm an intuitive. So I kind of tune in, they'll share a bit, and then I'll tune in, and we pull it out, we find it. And once it's there, it's like clay, we can mold it, we can shape it. And it's a beautiful process that's very empowering for all involved.
And how long does it usually take? Like from the time someone has that initial meeting with you
So I'm so sorry that the recycler came by this right next to my window. So it takes about 3 months in the author incubator.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you.
Radha, I was just going to mention, I think you touched on it a little bit about, I'm just trying to get myself in the spotlight. You mentioned a little bit about education. Is that kind of I know you've got a lot of stories and a lot of the books you've done already. Are you looking to switch into more education on how to raise someone's vibration, maybe from the 3D level into the 5D level, or like, what kind of education are you kind of talking about?
Okay, so like, for example, the energy healing and soul medicine, or the Awakening Starseed series, we invite the authors to tune into what they have to share, to offer, and so education is a very important part of it. And the way we go about it a lot is through storytelling of our own experiences, because sometimes that's very relatable. But also you can talk about just the process as in an educational way, so that people can just read it and learn from it. Or you can use an example of your own life or your client's life to share. So you can use examples as well. And we love to educate, and that's what these books are also about. But it's not like in your face education. It's like we share, and then everybody learns something from it, and I think that's sometimes the best way to share. Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, yeah, definitely stories are part of the education, but I think for a lot of people, they've been really suppressed for so many years, and we've been taught a certain way to be, not to think, but just to work. That's how we were raised, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. However, and that's the Rockefeller, teaching, and that was his dream, and that was his goal, to make that. And he got pretty far with it, and a lot of us fell into that. And I think Amanda said at the beginning of the year is that when I grew up on world history, and we learned a lot about United States history, and I'm telling her things about this US history that she's like, really? She's like, that actually happened? And I'm like, yeah, I learned it, and I know all about it. Here's where it happened. And so, and like, I know a lot of other history and geography that I know a lot of Americans don't know, because they've just never experienced it, or they don't even, like, I mean, you're just hearing. So I'm just, thinking about the education and how important it is to somehow get someone at least started into that program, and get that kind of fire in their belly lit up, and go through the chakras and kind of learn all that and get that going. That's the kind of education that I'm kind of thinking about when you said that.
Absolutely. So that is absolutely welcome. It's up to the author to bring that forward. You know, just like Deo Palma, he's bringing forward straight education. There's no, he's just telling it like it is and sharing, and people will read it and they can do what, you know, what they want with it. So like if people come in and they already have their books in mind, or they've already written their books, like we're helping, we have a sovereign author program where we help the authors who have already written their whole, or maybe they're not completely done, they need some help, but we help them to complete it. We help them with their cover, with their with their bio. We do the interviews, we do the PR, we do everything, and then we upload it into the you know, universe and send it out. But you know, so it's up to the author what they bring forward, you know, and if it's in alignment, then we're like, okay, great. And the sovereign author program is really great because we don't take any royalties from that. We just let you guys keep them. We don't want to enmesh in that, you know. It's just a way of you being empowered and sharing your work. We support you, you know, from start to finish, and then help you push it out with energetically and share it. So, you know, yes, to answer your question is yes, we absolutely do. You know, I thought you were referring to our collaborative books, which are people story tell in many different ways. But we love it when people have a vision, and we love it when people have a mission, because those are the people that we work with, you know, those are the people that we're meant to work with. And so there's many ways that we work with our authors. Some authors come to us after they've already even published their book, and they're just looking for that PR support. They just need that energy, that loving energy support to help, you know, push it out through interviews and various ways. So there's no like just one way that we work with people, and there's no just one subject. We're about bringing forward our truth, you know, the truth of history, whatever truths are meant to come forward. And we're all about the true voices of the people, you know. So that's what matters. We're in a time, we know this, where we're trying to re-educate ourselves from all the conditioning and programming in which we've been indoctrinated in. And it's really a tough, you know, a tough unfolding. The awakening process can be painful and hard, and we're here to, you know, encourage people along the way to keep going, just like our Awakening Starseed books are all about like the awakening, whether it be a painful or like a blissful or whatever it is. Like we all have like those pieces in us, and we all have so much to share. So I look forward to hearing more about what it is that you have to bring forward.
Cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, guys, would it be okay if I just maybe read a little bit of the book that I'm in? I'll just tell you guys a little bit about. So the Energy Healing and Soul Medicine was the first book that I was in, and this one actually has Colette's name in here too. It's titled Angel, and it was about my story of how I discovered discovered that I was an angel. So I'm also an angel activator, so I activate other angels. And this is a story about Colette having a class, and the instructor at that time, his name was Nigel, and we had a conversation about angels. And he said, you know, and I hadn't went to any of her other classes. It was like a week-long thing. She had different instructors each week. And with Nigel, he said, Amanda, like, has anyone ever told you an angel? And I'm like, oh yeah. He goes, well, why aren't you listening? I go, yeah, because I'm a caregiver. Like, they tell me I'm an angel all the time. He goes, no, they're reminding you that you're an angel. And I was learning how to like muscle test at this time, and I was like, okay. So like, I didn't really put too much into it, and I was like, oh, he probably tells that to everybody. But then I got off, and I was like, am I an angel? And I got a yes, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was just crazy. So then I thought, well, everybody's an angel. But I found out very quickly that they're not. They're not angels. So anyways, it's so funny. But okay, so what I want to do is I just want to share just a little bit. I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but I just want to tell you a little bit about the stories of the goddess, just because that's where my near and dear heart is with addiction. So So the chapter, the title of this is Catalyst to the Divine.
Mm.
And that right there is like, wait, what? How can fentanyl be a catalyst to the divine?
Mm.
And it goes against what we think, right? So, so it says fentanyl, a spiritual catalyst to the divine, with a question mark. I was receiving an energy healing from Sharon Doer, and she asked me what I wanted to focus on. Usually I would say whatever popped up that needed to be healed. But this time I told her I wanted to know why I was blocked from writing this chapter. I had a hard time with this chapter. We did an exercise and we invited God to come. And I could ask anything bothering me, hoping that it would give me direction. I immediately asked God why I was being blocked from writing my chapter. He said it's because I would channel a specific message from God themselves. That took the pressure off of me. I channel all the time. Ancestors pop in and want to get messages for their loved ones that I'm working with. My guides and angels pop in and give me messages. By far, this was much bigger message. This message for parents, or this is a message for parents who have children addicted to drugs, specifically fentanyl. So I just want to leave it there because I don't want to read the whole thing because I do want people to read the chapter and for them to feel it in their heart, but is a very specific channeled message for parents, not just mothers, but fathers and grandparents and aunts and uncles and children who have a loved one that is affected by someone's use of fentanyl, because it is something very, very different that we haven't seen in a long time. But the chapter does say that when these individuals get high, they're back in connection with the unconditional love of our Creator. So it's like, oh, well, okay, that makes sense, right? Who wouldn't want that? Because in this world, it's very dense and very hard. And most of these people that are in addiction, struggling in addiction, they're angels. And it's very hard to separate yourself from our Creator of that unconditional love that we're all together, and to be separated from that and come here is very, very difficult. And some angels find it really, really tough to be here during this time. So
Yes.
so that's about my chapter, and I hope it can help people just understand, because I think as a parent in this 3D reality, we want to either blame ourselves or blame them or blame whoever, instead of looking at it as a spiritual 5D experience. And I am guilty of teeter-tottering between both. So anyways, oh my gosh, Radhaa, thank you so much for being here. I love all your books, all your ideas. I follow you on all your pages, and Radhaa and I are working together to do some energy healing to help people with their own stuff. Well, we're just talking about the darkness and
Energy
people,
attacks.
the energy attacks and the energy vampires and all of that other stuff that we experience being on this earthly plane. So that's our next project. So I find that to be very fascinating. Thank you so much. Please, 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 if you haven't liked our YouTube channel, please like it, subscribe, so you can see the next time we go live. And we're going to be featuring different authors from Radhaa Publishing House. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And